Hi talkers, and welcome to another exciting episode. So today we are talking about engagements and what they mean in our South African legal system. So this topic was actually inspired by the South African telenova called The Queen. If you don't watch The Queen, it's fine. I'm going to give you a brief background. So we have Siyanda and Kagiso, who were in a relationship together. They broke up because Siyanda was hooked into drugs, even though it is Kagiso's family who sells these drugs. Anyway, Siyanda approached a detox center and had, to flush out the drugs. And when she came back, she discovered that Kagiso was now in another relationship with a lady called Goodness, and it was serious. She was so desperate to secure the bag, secure Kagiso, that she went to arm's length to make sure that Kagiso becomes hers. But anyway, because the family wanted to determine if indeed she was pregnant, they went to the doctor. It was confirmed that she was pregnant. But Siyanda could see that Kagiso was not into this relationship. She eventually had a miscarriage. However, she fooled the Khoza family. She didn't tell them that she had a miscarriage, that there was no baby, because Kagiso had already proposed marriage to her. Now, Harriet forced Kagiso to engage Siyanda. It was forced. So Kagiso did not want to marry Siyanda. He simply believed that, he can take care of her, he can live with her for the sake of the baby, and they would co-parent. But Kagiso's mother did not believe in that, so she wanted Kagiso to marry her so that the child doesn't grow up from a broken home. It's sad what other people do, and it is what happens in reality, guys. I can confirm that. So be that as it may, Siyanda continued with her deception that she was pregnant, that she desperately needed to fall pregnant again. She decided to hook up with her friend Ushumaka, and they got this very weird medicine that they were going to use on Kagiso. So Kagiso was apparently going to have a boner. Yeah, guys, and that he was going to do Siyanda again, and eventually she's going to fall pregnant. I don't know, it's disgusting. But anyway, be that as it may, what does engagement mean? The law of engagement in South Africa. So an engagement, guys, is a promise to marry. It is a contract between a man and a woman, okay, to marry each other on a specific terminal date. Yes, I did mention contract. It is. There must be an offer and there must be an acceptance. So the man, the guy, makes an offer and the girl accepts that. It doesn't mean that it has to be handwritten for it to qualify as a contract. As you know, that contracts can be entered into orally. So now it comes to the crux of the matter. So the requirements for a valid engagement are: there must be consensus, that is an agreement, and there must be a capacity to act. Now let us look at consensus. All right, for an engagement to be valid, it means that there must be no mistake, no undue influence, no duress, no misrepresentation. Now look at Siyanda and Kagiso's story. We have Siyanda, who is misrepresenting this whole thing, saying that she is pregnant whilst she is no longer pregnant. And we have Kagiso, on the other hand, who is being forced by his mother to marry this girl because they believe that she is pregnant and that this child must not be born into a broken home. Now look at that. Look at that. It is coming from both sides. If Kagiso actually married Siyanda because he loved her and she was pregnant and they were going to revive their relationship, which I think he was getting closer to, if they had more time, I think Kagiso was going to eventually love Siyanda again. But we have, it's misrepresentation on Siyanda's side, undue influence, duress on Kagiso's side. Okay, so now what does it mean? That engagement, in my opinion, is null and void. Okay, so Siyanda could never ever sue Kagiso for damages or breach of promise, that is the promise to marry her. Why do I say so? Let us look at the following case below. So it's actually here in my book. Oops. So it's the citation is Telenova versus Van Kagiso. Look at the citation below. So I just want to read it out word for word. The man was coerced into making a promise of marriage to a woman who had told him that she was pregnant with his child. Although she herself believed that she was pregnant, it subsequently transpired that she was not. The man thereupon rescinded from the engagement and the woman sued him for damages. He successfully invoked her misrepresentation as a defense. Hemstra J found that the engagement was voidable, irrespective of whether the woman's misrepresentation had been fraudulent or innocent. Now, he goes on to say there is authority that fraudulent misrepresentation justifies rescission of a promise because there is little prospects of a happy marriage if the parties commence their association with deceit. The ground on which BOA recognizes the right of a party to rescind in case of fraudulent pretense of pregnancy is the broad one that the marriage is bound to be miserable. This ground, in my opinion, also applies where pregnancy was mistakenly believed to exist. If an unwilling bridegroom has been led to the altar because of this belief, he will not be converted into an enthusiast for matrimony when the mistake is discovered. It's there. It's in our South African legal system, case law. So this thing has been happening for many years. Girls, do not do that. Do not do that. Mother-in-laws who are like, oh, Harriet, do not do that. Kagisos, do not do that. Don't marry someone because they're carrying a child. And don't marry a person because your mother wants you to marry that person because a baby is going to be born. So I hope that you guys have learned a lot, and I'm going to continue watching these telenovas because you have so much to learn from what is happening. It is not right, guys. And you can watch the Queen on Mzansi Magic. Mzansi Magic, yes, I think it's channel 157 if I'm not mistaken. I stream it on Showmax. I do not have DSTV, but you can watch it, guys. And thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope that you learned something, that engagement was null and void. And if they had actually gotten married and, you know, they went to Home Affairs and it was signed, it could still be revoked. So the way of dissolving that marriage would not be through divorce. It would be through misrepresentation. So it was going to be a null and void marriage anyway. So guys, that's my opinion, and I hope that you learned a lot. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment below on what you have learned. And I promise you, tomorrow's video is actually going to be very interesting as we look at another family law related matter in another telenova called Gomorrah. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this topic. Stay safe and see you on the next one. Cheers.